Hi, this is Mark with Tech Necessity. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can export an image sequence using the video editor built into Blender. Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you something that I just recently learned. It's a way to use the video editor built into Blender to export image sequences. Before I get started though, if you guys are interested in seeing other tutorial videos on Blender, Motion, Final Cut Pro, and even some product demos, please subscribe to my channel. Let's get into it. Alright, so today I was working on this video animation here. It's actually a little Earth 3D symbol, and I have the camera moving back through it here, and then it kind of swiping in front of the camera for a transition like that. Something I learned today that I didn't know is going to make my life a lot easier, so I thought I'd share it with you guys, is using the video editing inside of Blender itself. Now, I knew that it was there. I've never really used it before, but this was something that, something that it can do that I thought would be very helpful for you guys to know. So let's get into that here. So normally when I output an animation like this, I would go over to my render settings. I go down here and I would change it to PNG, and I'd do RGBA, so I get the alpha channel with the transparent background, so I can put this over my video. And just to get this out of the way, you guys should always use when you're outputting, do image sequences. Don't do videos, because it's burned me a couple of times where I was in the middle of rendering a video and my computer crashed, and I had been rendering for probably 3 or 4 hours, and I had to start from scratch. So when you render an image sequence and it renders one image at a time, basically what that means is that if your computer crashes for any reason, you lose power, anything happens that your export is interrupted in any way, you're only going to lose what hasn't been rendered yet. So if I'm rendering, say, 120 frames in my sequence, and I get to 60 and my computer crashes, that means that I've already rendered those 60, so then I can start my render again on frame 61. So I don't have to start from scratch, essentially. So that's my 2 cents about always rendering out still images and image sequences instead of doing the video option. Now, in the past, what I always used to do, and this was just something that I did because it was the way that I knew how to do it, after I outputted my images and I had my image sequence, let me go ahead and bring that up. So here's my image sequence, 120 frames that create basically a video. So what I used to do in order to convert these frames into a video was I would go into Motion. So I would open up Motion, and then in Motion I would then import those frames. So if you click on the first frame here in the sequence, and as long as they're all numbered sequentially like this and they're in the same location, all you have to do is click Image Sequence and then Import, and then basically I would have my image sequence here. So what I would then do is I would just output this, going up to Share, and I'd export a movie. And then that way I could maintain the alpha channel, and I would have a movie that I could use in my edits. But recently I learned, and it's going to make it a lot easier on me, so I don't have to actually use 2 programs. So let me quit Motion. Don't save. Alright, now that I'm back in Blender, I'm going to show you how you can essentially do the same thing we just did with Motion, but do it using Blender instead. So that way I don't have to use 2 programs. I can just do it all in the same program, which is going to make my life a lot easier. So first of all, what I need to do is actually go up to the layouts. So if you see, I've got my different layouts up here that are basically come default. But if you click this little plus sign here, you'll notice you get this video editing option, and you can actually add that as a layout. So the first thing I want to do, the first thing that I like to do, is I like to actually see my timeline in frames. Right now it's set up to be in seconds. So if I click on View and I go and I uncheck this Show Seconds box, now I can see that I've got 0 to 120 frames is going to be the length of my video. So now that I've got that all set up, the next thing I need to do is go ahead and import my video into my sequence here. So if I click on add and I go down to image sequence, it goes to where I have this. So what I'm going to do now is these are all the different images that I have for this particular image sequence. So I'm going to select the first one. I'm going to drag this all the way down to the bottom, and then I'm going to select the last one. I'm going to hold shift and select the last one, and it'll select them all. And then I'm going to add that. So now here's my clip. Now as you can see, the way that it came in, it's actually reversed from what I want. I actually wanted to have the earth come in like this and then swipe in front of the camera so I can use that to transition to another clip. Now you could do it this way where you have it swipe in front of the camera and then go over the other clip and then go through. That would also work, but that's not the way that I wanted to do it. So what I want to do is I want to actually reverse this clip down here. So the way that I'm going to do that is by selecting it and going over to this little drop down video menu, and then I'm going to click reverse frames. Now what that's done is it's actually reversed the clip so that it's the way that I want it to be. Alright, now that I've got that set up, all I need to do is change my output settings. So over here in my output menu, right now it's set up to PNG because I usually output as image sequences using the PNGs so that I can have the alpha channel and I won't crash my computer and lose everything. But what I want to do first is change that to a video format. So I'm going to go down to FFmpeg video. You notice when I do that, the little RGBA option disappears. So I don't even have that option anymore with this. And the reason why is because the codec that this is currently set to does not support the alpha channel. So if I drop down this little encoding menu, I'm going to change the container to QuickTime, and then I'm going to click on this video codec and I'm going to select the QT animation option. The QT animation, QuickTime animation, is the same output that Motion uses. It's the same codec that Motion uses, so I know that it'll work with my videos that I'm going to use this with. So now that I've selected that, I need to make sure that I go back up here and I check this RGBA box because I want to have that alpha channel. If I don't do that and I just leave it like this, it's not going to output as a transparent background. So select RGBA. I'm outputting my video with my QuickTime QT animation codec. Alright, so now that that's all set, I'm outputting 1920 by 1080 at 100%. I'm going to actually go up here. I'm going to make sure I'm set to cycles, which I am, and I'm going to render it at 100. So all I need to do now is go to my render menu and click render animation. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm going to close out the render window. And now all you need to do is go to your desktop. Once I'm on my desktop, all I need to do is find the file that I just outputted. And there you have your outputted file that you can now import into your Final Cut Pro or your Premiere Pro and use it for editing. Alright guys, well I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you next time on Tech Necessity.